Hello and welcome to the Liverpool Way podcast, which we're recording after a fairly low-key 2-1 win over Lille that maintains our 100% record in Europe and keeps us top of the group stage table. I'm Dave Usher, editor at liverpoolway.co.uk, and I'm joined for this by John Brennan, the man who nutmegged the man who won the Ballon d'Or. I think I've got that right. More on that later. And also with us tonight is a man described by one drunken listener as the funniest on the pod, because his name rhymes and sounds funny. It is, of course, Stu Montagu.
Cheers.
All right, boys. JB, I'll start with you because you've not been on for a while. So, tell us what you thought about tonight. Welcome back, by the way.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I just thought it was a pretty nondescript, which I probably shouldn't be saying, seeing as we're going to give an hour talking about the game. So that's not a good start for a pod. I just felt we were really comfortable. Never got out of maybe second or third gear, and if we needed to, we could have gone up easily through the gears. Obviously, not much at stake tonight either, given our brilliant start to the campaign, and overall really good, all positive. 7 wins out of 7. That's the first goal as well we've conceded in the 7 games since the opening 2 minutes against Milan, which is sensational in Europe. Keep on the positives for the moment. Mo getting back on the score sheet is good. The last goal he scored, I think, was against United on the 5th of January, which isn't that long ago, but and that was a pen as well, wasn't it? So it was good, especially after last week against Forest, where he was in so many promising positions, didn't take any of his chances. Touch looked a little bit off. Tonight I thought he was the finish for the goal is sensational, and his touch, he missed his second chance in the first half, where he's taking the ball down out of the sky. It was just absolutely classic Mo. Just finish went the wrong side of the post. What else was good? Harvey getting on. I was delighted to see him get on, but I would have been even more happy had he started. I think that was a perfect game to start him, and again he's done all he can. He's put his hand up tonight. He's been really good. He was great against Brentford at the weekend, and in terms of rotation as well, I think he's done a really good job again tonight. I mean, he doesn't rotate like Klopp rotated, but the 3 midfielders, the starting midfield wasn't the midfield that finished the game. We also got Trent, basically gave him a night off. Konate, who probably is finding it difficult to manage Saturday. That's good that he got the night off too. Rob will probably come back in at the weekend. So all in all, really good. The only dark spot on the night was for me just Jones obviously picking up that injury, and it looks like it's a groin injury as well, doesn't it? So that could be a blow for him. He could be out for a few weeks with that, but hopefully it's not too bad. But all in all, a really good night.
Have they said anything about Curtis? Because he got through the first half, didn't he? We've seen the incident where it looked like he was injured, but he carried on.
I've not seen anything. I've not seen anything, so.
Oh, fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah.
Stu, what did you think?
I think it's really good. I think it's easy. Just looking at, I saw half the comments there from Slop from Slot at the end.
Did you just call him Slop? That's amazing.
From Jurgen Slot there at the end.
It's not been your week, has it, Stu?
Brains said some mush.
He's had a really tough job, Slop, taking over from Jurgen Klopp.
He has, hasn't he? He has. I thought his comments there were basically saying it's easy to underestimate the opponents today, and that the fans and everyone else watching won't have thought it was as good a performance as he thought it was. I think we were saying, I thought in the first half it was really good, really controlling. We looked like we were getting into good areas without actually getting the final goal or the finish to the move. They weren't really threatening us, and again, like they've not, was it 21 games unbeaten? They were something like that. Beat Real Madrid, beat Atletico Madrid. I think it's really, really easy to underestimate how sort of consummate that was today. Again, there was one goal. We've let a goal in, and it was a bit sloppy and stuff. But other than that, really, I feel like we've sort of gone up a gear as well without getting too much into the games that have just gone. I feel like two really serious performances, two big away games where we're just clearly doing enough in these games to be the better team, and if we can just carry that on for as long as we can carry that on, you're going to keep winning football matches. Worst case, you're going to draw them. I was impressed again today, especially with rotation. As JB saying there, lads coming in doing a good job. Thought Costas was decent again today. I thought his delivery was good again. All the lads that have maybe didn't play last week or have been rotated in, everyone's starting to make contributions. Harvey was good, clever little passes to unlock defences. That could be handy as we go on. When we need to win a game, when it's tight, I think he's going to show his value again. But yeah, just a really good performance where we probably could have been any number really there tonight. I know we haven't got value for it. We're saying there we got in a lot. Mo got in a lot, and it's not so much. Sometimes I'll criticise him for being a bit loose. A lot of the times he was getting in, like we said, it was his own class that was getting him into those positions. A couple of the touches that got him in there, really excellent. But if him and Diaz had the shooting boots on, then it could have been 3, could have been 4. We had good opportunities. The one thing I'd say maybe, I think on 60 minutes we'd had 3 shots on goal. So that's probably something we could have improved on. Could have worked the keeper more. All in all, you've got to be happy with that night's work. It's, job done.
Yeah, I think I put that down to the lack of shots on target now for the first hour. I just put that down to we were just doing enough. We weren't really overextending ourselves. We were just making sure we had control of it. We were creating situations. We didn't need to force it, and I think it was a good performance in terms of conserving energy as well, because I don't think we needed to really put too much into it to dominate the game, which is, I suppose that's a sign of how good we are, really, that we don't need to be completely all guns blazing to be able to win these games. I don't know how good they are. Like the record, unbeaten in 21, that's, it's pretty good. As you say, they beat Real Madrid. Everyone was beating Real Madrid early in the season. They beat Atletico Madrid, so that does look good. I think they're, what are they, 3rd or 4th in France in the table?
Yeah, they're 3rd in the league, but they unbeaten since the 17th of September up to tonight, 21 games. That's difficult in any league, and that's across all competitions as well. That's in 5 Champions League games, because they lost their first one away to Sporting Lisbon in the French Cup and in the French League. But a lot of those games have ended in draws as well. I think they've won 8 and drawn 8 this season. So the way I kind of always like to judge a team is where they'd finish in the Premier League, and they would be kind of mid-table, probably 10th to 15th at best in the Premier League. Honestly, I think, say, the likes of Brentford, who were really good,
Fulham,
Fulham, even Bournemouth at the moment. I think they're around that level. And
Bournemouth,
Bournemouth. I actually made an effort to say it right there.
That's what Klopp used to call him, didn't he? Sorry, Clot. He always used to call him Bournemouth.
But I think they're decent, but they'll probably they won't make the the top 8, so they're in the last 16, so they'd be in a playoff. They have a chance of going through to the last 16, but after that I think that's as far as they'll go. But yeah, I still don't think you can underestimate how good we're playing at the moment. I mean there's a couple of hiccups in December, January maybe, but as Stu said, the last 2 games, and I'd even go so far as to say the last 3 games, because I thought we were really good against Forest, especially in the second half. So I think we're just moving up through the gears at the moment, hopefully anyway, and good chance obviously at the weekend to continue that run. We should have plenty of, not that you need excuses, but I mean, if he had started with his first choice 11 tonight, you could complain about freshness at the weekend, but I think even if the first, what I'm trying to say is, even if the first 11 had started tonight with no rotation, you'd still expect to win at the weekend. But we definitely have no excuses now, because you have players coming in after a nice week's break, and we should be well capable of beating Ipswich at the weekend. So yeah, all in all, I think at the moment we're just moving in the right direction, and just creating so many chances, look really solid as well at the back, and it kind of augurs well for the next few weeks and months, I think.
The fact that it was a Tuesday makes it easier as well to put a stronger team out. If it's Wednesday, maybe you think twice about playing certain players. I'll tell you what I thought was a bit odd. Like, Canate not being involved tonight, that in itself isn't surprising at all, but he did the press conference yesterday, and that's like really unusual. Normally, the player who goes up for the press conference always plays the game. So whether like they were intending to maybe play him for a half or something, and you've changed their mind, I don't know. But I just thought that was a little bit strange. But as for Lille, I mean, I thought they were really neat and tidy. You know, something like the way they popped it around and passed the way around our press. I thought that was really good. They're just a bit toothless.
Yeah, I thought that they built up pretty well, didn't they? They built up pretty well, and they didn't. They made it quite hard for us to play through them. I made note that like half an hour in, Gravenberch had barely got the ball. Yeah, because they were just shutting off the middle, so we were sort of having to go round them, or we were having to go over the top of them with balls into Salah. And I just think they were for half an hour, for 40 or whatever, they looked like they were doing what they could, and then a bit of quality would do them. If you know what I mean, it felt like the left back. As the game went on, the left back struggled more and more against Mo. Do you know
how
what I mean?
many dives was he doing as well?
It felt like that was their one way out of the press, was just to have a little fall over. But yeah, like you said, I thought they were handy. They were handy without being brilliant, and at no point was I worried that we weren't gonna break them down eventually, or someone was going to do something that was a bit too good for them. Yeah. We've got better players. At some point, someone's going to do something. And I didn't really fancy them to score. They've had one shot, one goal really. I think the gaffer said something at the end about that he's a little bit disappointed that that's happened a couple of times to us now, one shot, one goal. But you'll go a long way if you're only giving teams one good shot every game. Yeah, and that one, definitely no fingers pointed at Alisson for that. He's committed for the first shot, and which is blocked by Costas, and then we can't do anything about that. Only reason I mention that is just because of the statistical side of it, where that's easy for me to say. Where it's like how many shots he's faced and how many have gone in. It's not really a good number, but mind you, I think he's totally boosted those numbers with the Brentford game when he had like 6 or 7 shots straight at him. So I think like normality's been restored now in terms of the stats. But yeah, let's talk about our goal first then. As you said, Stu, really, isn't it? It's just like a bit of quality. So we win the ball. Costas makes a tackle. Curtis is there trying to win it as well. Ball comes out to Gravenberch, who just pops it straight to Curtis. And it's a lovely ball through the middle and a great finish from Mo. If he hadn't scored that, I'd have been fuming with him for not just rolling it to Darwin for the tap in, but he did score, so you get a pass. And like it was only when you saw the replay of the finish, like you see the goal and you go, oh yeah, it's a nice finish. Only when you see the replay you realise actually the goalkeeper's covering
the goal in terms of he's not just put it wide of him and slotted it in. He sent it out wide and bent it back. So he's actually started it wide of the goal to get it round the keeper. And you're like, it's actually a much better finish than it looked on first view. It's a really good goal, really controlled shot. Did you get onto the celebration with Curtis? Because we need to talk about that as well, the nonsense that's gone on this week. Curtis went over to celebrate with him, and then
I saw that. Yeah.
He's pointing at Mo as if to say, he's the best, because Curtis has been getting loads of shit this week over. He done I told you about it in the chat to you about the interview with Ferdinand and Slot, and then Curtis was on it as well. So Curtis gets asked about who his hero was growing up, who was his favourite player. So he says it's Eden Hazard, and he was joking because he's obviously aware of it, and he said about I know there's that thing about Hazard and Mo and who's better, and Curtis was kind of saying, I always say to Mo, Hazard's better than you, winding him up. But what his point was, the thing that he said, and I actually agree with him, and you'll agree with me, Stu, because you hate Mo. But the point that he was making, what he actually said was, he said, well, I think Ferdinand did him no favours, because Ferdinand sort of put the words in his mouth by saying, who's the better footballer, which makes you think overall player. But what Curtis was saying was, Hazard's more talented and he'd rather watch him play. But he said, if I'm picking a team, I'm picking Mo all day. But in terms of who's the most skillful player, who do you want to watch? He said it's Hazard, because that was his favourite player growing up. And
right.
I mean, you only had to watch him at Anfield. He was always fucking unbelievable every time he played against us at Anfield. So I see his point, and I would make the comparison there. I would much prefer to watch Adam Lallana than any of our midfielders other than Thiago that we've had since. Just in terms of who do I watching? Yeah. Just in terms of the technique, the balance, all of that stuff. But I'm not picking Adam Lallana over Gini Wijnaldum or the lads we've got now or any of that. That's not what I'm saying. But in terms of who's got the best technique, well, it's probably Lallana. And I think that was Curtis's point. And it was a totally harmless thing that he said. And there's some merit to it as well. It's not an outrageous thing that he said in terms of who's the more skillful player or whatever, and who he enjoys watching. And he's getting loads of shit from the Twitter gobshites.
Weird,
some of the abuse I've seen him getting, it's fucking ridiculous, mate. And you know what? I'm convinced it's just because these knobheads who are having a go at Curtis are the same knobheads who are constantly fucking bantering with Chelsea fans over the Hazard Salah thing. And then when one of our players comes out and says something like that, obviously Chelsea fans are going to latch onto that and take it out of context, which we'd do in the same situation. There's no problem with that. But it's pissed off the fucking online versions.
I don't get this. Who even thinks that's a conversation? I get the idea
Twitter
that Hazard was a. He's a skillful player, and he decorated games, and he looked like he could glide past five and whatever. But I saw a video which was a compilation of his goals in Champions League knockout games. Two, two in his whole fucking career.
That's Curtis's point. That was his point. So if I'm picking a team, I'm having Mo all day.
He's just gone past Thierry Henry. It's not even a conversation of who is the better footballer, if you know what I mean. But yeah, just there's too much of that sort of, like you say, Twitter virgin banter bullshit, isn't there? If he grew up and he liked him, he's a skillful player. Fair enough, who cares?
Yeah, but that's what the celebration was tonight when he's pointing. Definitely related to that.
The lesson there as well is never talk to Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Because he's a fucking dickhead. But
no, he's a helmet. I know he is. What I would say though is the stuff with Slop. It's definitely worth watching. No, it's really good. It's really good. Slot's very honest. Possibly, you could maybe say a little bit too honest in terms of if you wanted to twist what he said to make headlines. He's talking about Trent and a lack of effort against United and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's really good though. He's talking tactical stuff. It's funny at one point. This is totally getting away from the game tonight. But I mean, it's not. There's not that much to talk about. There's a bit when Ferdinand says to him, "So why doesn't Trent invert as much as like he was doing like last season. And Slot points at the screen and he points to Gravenberch and McAllister and he goes, because I don't rate him as highly as I do these two. He went, Trent's very good in midfield, but those two are like much better. And then he pointed, like, because you're thinking, oh, there's a dig at Trent. Then he points at like the whole right hand side of the pitch and he goes, but in these areas, Trent's the best in the world. So it's like, okay, you've redeemed yourself there. But it was the way you just said, no, because I rate these two more highly. Well, no, it's really good stuff. Look it up. It's on YouTube, on like TNT Sports. If you can stomach watching Rio Ferdinand, that is, like, which I know that's tough. But no, it is. It's really good. Definitely worth a watch.
But just going back to the goal, just for one sec, speaking about Curtis, that pass just so perfectly weighted as well. Mo he didn't even have to break his stride, just almost how can you say, he just had to pick a spot in the goal. He didn't have to even touch. I think that his first touch was the actual shot. He didn't even need to get it out of his feet. So that's something we've been saying maybe lately in different chats, and you lads have been saying on the pod as well, that's something that we need to see more of from Curtis, rather than taking the extra touch. Just get his head up. He is capable of playing that kind of pass more often, and when you have players like with the speed of Mo, Diaz, Nunes as well, getting in behind or picking balls out through the channels. I think it's something that he's brought he has in his locker, but he just needs to kind of use it a little bit more, and when he does, he's really good. I mean, the kind of comparison is there sometimes with Harvey when he comes on, and Curtis. Harvey is very front foot
it's
and always looking, isn't he? Yeah, he's always looking for the give and go. He's always looking for a little pass. We even saw that at the weekend against Brentford. I just think if Curtis had that kind of mentality isn't the right word, but that kind of mindset maybe. Where you just want to get forward the whole time, and he has the technical ability to do it, and just love if he kind of added that to his game. I mean, he has it in his game, but if he just added it more often rather than taking the extra touch and going for the simple pass.
Do you know what though? I think with that, it's when he's in a little bit of a run and he's playing with confidence, he does that. You see it. And then it's when he's missed a couple of games and he comes back, he sort of feels his way in, and he's a little bit safe.
True.
But on that on the video with Ferdinand, like they showed Curtis like these stats that he's the most accurate for passing in the entire league, and everybody else on the list was a centre back, because like they're playing safe passes to each other all the time. But he's like number one. He's like something like 97% pass completion or something like that. And he was really proud of that, because he's saying a lot of what I do is in like really tight spaces. He said I'm not just like standing at the back passing the ball like around with the centre back. He said a lot of my stuff's like out wide in little tight windows with triangles and stuff. And he said so I'm pleased with that. And it is quite a remarkable stat, to be fair, like for a midfielder to be like so high. And I know a lot of what he does at times is safe, but even still, there's other midfield players who play safe and they're not like on 97%. It was either 96 or 97%. It was like remarkable to me for like a midfielder to be above all the centre backs.
But Dave, you're saying, I mean, when he comes back in the team after being out for a while, maybe he takes a while to get back in his stride. I think I remember you saying a few years ago on the pod that he was, even coming up through the academy and everything, that he was kind of brimming with self-confidence, and that and I just don't see that in his game.
He's changed completely, and the best comparison when he was coming through, like in the 18s now, the best comparison that I could probably make would be Coutinho. He was like a really similar player, played similar position, did similar things. He was that type of player, and he's absolutely nothing like that now. He's totally like matured into a more rounded player, but he's not doing like the extravagant stuff anymore, which is fine because that's not really his role in the team anymore. So as long as he's doing stuff like that tonight, as long as he's still contributing that occasionally, that's all you're wanting from the position that he's playing. But yeah, he's nothing like what he was when he was coming through as a kid. I mean, he wasn't really doing any defending. It wasn't really what he was asked to do. He was just get on the ball, make something happen, and he usually did.
He's well suited for slot though, isn't he? And that this sort of slight change of what we're doing, I think, the fact that he retains the ball a bit more, that's something Slot will like.
He said that to Ferdinand.
And when he moves up the pitch a bit more, he has got that. Because he's been a forward and because he's been used to playing in attacking areas. He has got that little bit of an invention. He has got that little turn, that little slip that he can do something on the edge. So, yeah, I think as long as he's mixing it up, like we're saying, as long as he is getting his head up for that first pass, for that ball through to Salah. And I think it is a good goal from us. It's really well weighted. But I say to the lads, I think their goalkeeper's fucking awful on it. I watched it back from behind their goal. Where the ball ends up, the keeper starts about 10 metres away from where the shot's taken.
Does he go back first?
He sort of panics, goes back a few, and then still doesn't come out. And not like a good sweeper keeper just sorts that out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So on first viewing, it looks amazing. It looks perfect weight, perfect run, perfect finish. I'd be asking questions. Like they were saying on the commentary that he's lined up for a big move. His kicking was dreadful. Like he kept giving it away and kept giving it back to us, and then I thought he was a bit iffy on that goal. It was strange that I didn't see it in him because their build up was nice, and then he'd give it back to the keeper. Keeper just chip it to us.
Or knock it out for a throw.
Strange.
Yeah.
So Mo had he went close again just after that, didn't he? With that, I think it was Diaz played the pass this time, wasn't it? Like that big raking diagonal ball. I'm sure it was Diaz. Did a couple of them.
That first touch is incredible.
Oh,
the first touch and then the body work
to stay goal side of the defender with the touch and holding them off all the while you're running at full speed.
And the finish is close, isn't it? He's very close to putting it in the bottom corner. That was really. It's not good because you always say you should finish in that situation, but the work he's done to get there, do you know what I mean? He's got no right, He's got no right to be taking the shot from where he got the ball. Yeah,
no, that's all true. Everything was like sensational, like unbelievable, and then the finish is just this little scuffed little powder puff, rolly, shitty shot. I'm like, oh Mo, that would have been I keep saying this, but that would have been an all-timer. That goal, just because of like the touch, the strength, the balance. Everything is just unreal, and then he just let himself down with the finish.
Someone's going to cop it off him, I think, soon. So he's going to get a hat trick.
His goals are all ones, aren't
or
they?
Something.
It's it's 1-1. He scores more or less every game, but
he's getting in so often still. But his finishing is just a touch off, or his final ball is just a touch off, and that's fine. If we're going to keep ticking over, winning games when he's probably at 7 out of 10, and that's great. You know what I mean? When we get 8s and 9s, someone's fucking getting it.
Yeah. Anything else happening in the first half that you can think of? I'm struggling, to be honest. Not really any major incidents that I can think of.
No, I think the summing up of the first half is just completely controlled football from us, knocking it around, good in possession, pretty good as well. Well, that's something over the course of the game. I thought obviously he didn't score. Not obviously he didn't score, but Darwin hasn't scored tonight. But I thought his contribution was really good in terms of his effort, his press, tackling back. Just as you said, Dave, his
passing was good as well. Like loads of first time balls out to Mo and stuff like that. Yeah, I thought he played really well.
Yeah, he had Niffy 10, didn't he? Where he kept giving things away for 10
early
minutes.
in the second half.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was 10. I'd say it was less than that. But there was a Niffy spell there.
In a row,
yeah. He could be down, over the course of the season in terms of his goal output and everything, as you've said on the pod, but you just never see that in him, and he's part of the group. Everybody loves him, as you could see the weekend when he scored. Obviously everybody's going to be really happy with a 2-0 win, 2 injury time goals, but that went beyond just happy that we got the 3 points. They were just so happy for him, and you can just see he's so involved in everything we do, and his commitment to the cause, whatever about the quality or the lack of quality at times, his commitment to us just can't be questioned at all. So yeah, I thought he was really good and led the line really well.
It was just a shame that that marginal offside at the end. I need to see that again. I need to see that again. There's no lines. I'm not convinced. I need to see lines.
Whether he was past the keeper, was he past the goalkeeper as well or not?
You know what looks like it's happened there? He's kind of just mesmerised. He's not really thinking. He's watching like Chiesa, and I think it's in his head. He's like, is that Enrico or is that Fede? And he's not realised where he is, and then he's not got back on side because he's just distracted by like.
Listen, it's an easy thing to do. It's an easy thing to do. Much smarter men than him have struggled with that one.
We need to get to Chiesa because I want to talk about him like when the time comes, but we'll try to keep it in some sort of order. So half time then. Yeah. I seen in the chat Stu saying something like, "Don't think we'll see many changes here. I think he's going to keep it strong, get the game won." Yeah. And then, I'm reading that, and then I look up at the screen, and there's 2 subs ready to come on. I was like, "Yeah, nice one, Stu."
Yeah, got that one right.
In fairness, Curtis was injured, so
that
change may not have been made ordinarily. So it was Curtis and Ryan went off, didn't he?
Yeah.
Don't know how Dom survived because he was abysmal in our first half. By the way, I was like, "Whoa, nothing's gone his way." He just kept giving it away all the time. So I don't know what the pre-planned changes will have been. Obviously, Gravenberch was only going to play a half, but you would have thought Endo would have been his replacement, wouldn't you? So yeah, I don't know. Did Endo come on? When did Endo come on? Was it at half time? No, it wasn't. It was after that, wasn't it? Yeah,
no, it wasn't. It was after
so
that.
The half-time subs was Harvey and
Maka,
that's right, yeah.
Part of that sometimes is just to give him 45, innit? To give Maka some rhythm, probably.
Yeah. I do think they value that, don't they? I think, they do look at, rather than rest, sometimes they value getting minutes on the pitch more, just to keep them ticking over.
Yeah.
He does things differently, doesn't he? That
he does.
We're used to that now. It's like it's not the same as it was in terms of how he views rotation and the need to give players a rest. He sees things differently. Now that can also be, we've mentioned before that we've not done as much running, so there's not as much miles on the clock. So maybe you don't need to rest them as much.
Yeah, I mean, I was fine with the starting 11. Apart from Harvey not starting, I've said that before. I think it's a perfect game to give him.
Agree. Harvey for Dom.
Defo. The only thing is, and we said this before in one of the other chats, that you kind of want to give players minutes to keep them involved in everything, and I do think there's an important distinction to be made between keeping Harvey involved and giving him as many minutes as possible and Endo, because looking to the future, I mean, Endo isn't going to be in long-term plan, so I'm not too bothered if he doesn't get minutes in these kind of games. If he plays in the FA Cup, that's fine, but I do think Harvey should be treated a little bit differently, and not just to give him minutes. I think he's put his hand up for a place at this point. I mean, the midfield 3 almost picks itself. It certainly does for Slot. But Curtis is probably 4th in the pecking order, and then Harvey isn't far behind him. So I think it's important to get Harvey involved as much as possible in the next few weeks for 2 reasons, as I said, to make him convinced in one way that he's a future under Slot, and also because I think he just gives us something extra in every game.
Stu, do you think that Harvey's role is going to be just impact off the bench for the rest of the season?
I don't see how he's anything other than that. Just because I think unless there's injuries, I think the other 4 are going to nail down most of the minutes. But like Harvey, Chiesa, Costas, for their minutes that they're on the pitch, you know, and all the decent numbers of like shot creating actions and passes. You know, they're incredible. Like I think Chiesa and Elliott are. I think Chiesa and Elliott. I know they've only played like about fucking 90 minutes or something in all appearances, but I think Elliott created like 7 shots when he and Chiesa's having a shot every 3 seconds. And it's just like a shot on target every 3 seconds as well. You know, he's working the goalkeeper.
Yeah,
I just think there's a lot of those lads are like really chipping in when they're coming on for half an hour, 45 minutes. I like the fact that Elliott gives you that little clever pass. Immediately we looked a little bit more subtle around the box, didn't we? He puts Mo in, he puts Conor Bradley in. That he just delays the pass, plays it at the right time, 1 touch, 2 touch. I think there's a big part to play, and I think you'd be mental to go anywhere else for 6 months when there's a league title to be won. You know, it doesn't matter how many you're going to get on the pitch. If you get on the pitch 10 times,
well, he's not going to. You know, let's face it.
No, he's not. But I mean, even talk of it. Like I know he's talking about, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'm not going to leave. You'd be mad to leave anyway. There's, you know. The amount of big football matches that you're going to be involved in, you know, who's going to be Divock Origi this year? Someone could be, and that's, you know, that could be the biggest moment of your career. Champions League final,
which
league
is much
title,
better than,
you know,
playing every week for fucking.
Oh yeah, go and play for
Ipswich.
It's just what's the point? I think I've been last few matches. The lads from the bench really those two in particular. I think Elliott and Chiesa have done themselves no harm whatsoever in saying throw me on for half an hour. I think your boy might be concerned with how lively Chiesa looks off the bench, Dave.
Yeah, but he's doing it out wide. I think that's where you want him. I don't see him as like much of a threat to Darwin. I don't think that's, you know, you'd have both of them on in the latter stages of a game. We may as well talk about Chiesa now then, like seeing as how we've just jumped out of sequence. The thing I like is how he gets a shot away. You know, he always gets a shot away. He manages to just shift the ball. It doesn't look like he's doing anything special to do it, but he just always seems to get a shot in, doesn't he? You know, his shots aren't getting blocked. He's like just shifting it, and then twice he's done it tonight. He's like 2 saves.
2 men on him as well.
Isn't he? Yeah,
he was doubled up on both times. And he got his shot
really
off.
good, really good. And I thought like he looked. Physically, he just looked like he was getting around the pitch better.
Yeah,
he didn't look as... Because I don't know, maybe it's just my perception, but he's looked a little bit cumbersome, maybe, you know, just awkward is the word with his running. Tonight, I just thought, oh, look at him, he's just fucking flying about.
So he needs really games, doesn't he?
I need to see more of him. I want to see more of him, because I think like he's gonna really like help us. You know, just whether he's playing on the right or the left, just getting the ball, cutting in, getting shots away. He's just lively. Just really want to see more of him. Looking forward.
Even what he does for competition. For competition again, like if you're in that front 6, you've got to be on it, because there's people knocking on the door constantly, isn't there? You know, if you're not doing it, someone else will take your place.
Definitely, and another thing, Stu, is I mean last season he wasn't here. Obviously, he signed in the summer, but Jota got injured, didn't he? I think it was against Brentford last season. We beat them 4-0 away, didn't we? And somebody fell on him, and that was kind of at the beginning of March, I think, and we missed him so badly. And like the one game we really missed him was the United game, and that's where for me it all started to go downhill last season. And given Jota, given his injury record, I mean, he's back last week, comes on first touch, scores, and then we hear we're not going to see him again now for maybe another 2 weeks, and you just, you know, as Chris often says, the best ability is availability, and we're going to need. It's what you said about Darwin at the weekend. We're just going to need everybody to chip in some way. Stu has said it there about Costas, Harvey, Chiesa when they come on. We're going to need all these players because I think we have, if we go far in all the cup competitions, I think we could have between 25 and 30 games left between now and the end of the season, so that's a big volume of games, and they're going to be intense games as well. So I'm just happy that he's getting games. I want to see more of him because I think there's goals in him, and with Jota being injury prone, and one of the six strikers for me that really isn't at it at the moment is Diaz.
He's gone off the boil, yeah.
He's really gone off the boil. I mean, he was great against Spurs there before Christmas, but since then I haven't seen him doing much. So, we're going to need everybody, all hands on deck.
That's why you have six, though, JB. I mean, like that's the advantage for us, really, because during the season, players lose form. They have little spells where it's not going well, and then suddenly, like, they get it back again, and that's totally normal. But like say Arsenal at the moment. If any of Arsenal's forwards are having like a bad spell, like, you know, Harvey hasn't been great recently. So, for example, like players like that, well, they can't really do anything because they've got two players out injured. So they've not got the options to bring someone out who's not firing. So whereas we can, if someone's not doing it, well, we've got like 3 forwards on the bench who we can just bring on and say, right, you can start this week. It makes such a difference because it's not a knock on any of the players. It's just a fact that like players have dips of form during the season. There's very, like Slot said this himself the other day, there's very few players who like every 3 days are like at their absolute best. Because, you know, you're looking at like 7 or 8 players in the world who are like at their absolute best every few days, and everyone else is like they'll play some really good games and then they'll have some games where they're not at the best. It's just consistency. So that's why if you've got like a squad with options, when someone does lose form, it's like, fine, I've got someone else who I can bring in. As long as they don't all lose form at the same time, which is what happened to us at the end of last season, and totally fucked us.
There's Dans is there as well. He's on the bench tonight too, so he's an option too.
He's definitely an option. You know, if he played, he wouldn't let anyone down.
Yeah, so we're probably looking at 7 when everybody's fit, which is really good, and even in terms of changing things up during a game as well, we can change the front line, the front 3, you know, completely, and probably not go, not lose much in terms of attacking options. You could pick any 3 from the 7, and they probably do a pretty good job. So that strength and depth is really good.
Yeah. So. Let's talk about the second half then. So, red card. I mean, I think that lad wanted to get sent off. Because to do what he did when you're already on a yellow card, you would just let Diaz run through and just take your chances that he doesn't score.
It's a great pass.
You just do. It's a great pass. It's Harvey, wasn't it? Lovely ball.
Harvey,
but you don't do that. He knew he was. There was no way he was not getting the second yellow for that. I think he just wanted to fucking get off the pitch because it was ridiculous. And the irony is they fucking got better when they went down to 10 and they scored not long after. So, Stu, talk us through their goal then. What went wrong?
I think for me it's one of those where in the first half I thought Bradley was beaten a couple of times and started a bit slowly. So there's 2 times when the guy gets past him and you're like, okay, you probably want to sharpen that up a bit. And then I think for the goal, that's another one where he's knocked off a bit, and the cross shouldn't come in really. So that's something I think if people obviously like, there's a lot of daft conversation about Bradley's ready to step up, and very daft conversations about we don't need Trent. Obviously, that's nonsense. But if he is going to start bridging that gap of stepping up and playing more games, he's going to have to be the defensive guy, isn't he? He's going to have to be the guy that wins the 1v1 battles. Because that's the thing Trent doesn't do, so you've got to be the guy who does that if you want to specialise in something different. Just feel like that's probably something he can come off and sharpen up on and go, alright, got past me 3 or 4 times, I need to sort that out. I think it's a bit unlucky, probably. The goal bounces off Costas, it could go anywhere, it goes right to their man, goes anywhere else, Verge gets it, goes off to the left, no one gets it. Maybe Costas can do a bit better.
I thought Dom should have done better, to be honest, in terms of picking up the spare player in the box. The midfield runner who comes in, Dom just sort of lets him go. He's just not paying attention. The guy who gets the first shot.
Oh, right, okay. Well, maybe it was. I think Slot maybe mentioned about not getting back, so maybe he did think it was a midfielder's job to come and to get back in and sort it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
He's back in the box, but he's not doing anything. He's not marking the player.
Right. I mean, it's one of those where it's not disastrous. It's not let's tear someone apart for it, but it's you could have done your job better. You could have done your job better, and then we don't concede. but I think at the moment we're getting a touch unlucky at the moment with people finishing their one chance against us. I'm not. I've seen a couple of bits of analysis. I saw like Sky and Liverpool need to sort the defence out, and that's just not the case for me. I just think defensively we've been really good, best defence in the league, best expected goals against. I just think, and I don't think it's a disaster. We can all say that Robbo maybe needs to sharpen up a little bit, and Trent's had a couple of games and whatever, but just in general, go and watch other teams, then watch us. We're pretty solid, and given the fact that we're also like, I saw that on Cara was doing some on Sky as well, where the attacking side of things, the goal scored and the XG on the graph, and we're like miles off in the top corner compared to everyone else. I just feel like there's a really good balance between not giving too much up at the back, and if anything, we're not finishing that well at the moment. We're creating a lot and we're not finishing that well, so that's got to be a good thing, because I think averages that'll click at some point. I think if anything, we're on the dip of our form going forward, really, and we're still scoring goals.
But that's the problem tonight for me. I'm not that there's a problem. We won the game, but the goal that we conceded, that can happen. At some point in the game,
should be four,
that can happen. It shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
But it did matter, because it was like, hang on, how is this 1-1? We've been so dominant and it's 1-1. Then obviously you go and win the game. Lucky goal, to be fair, deflection. But the problem is not so much that we conceded the goal. It's like, because that can happen at any point in the game. You're not playing against mugs. They can put together a move and score a goal. Pretty much any team you play is capable of putting a move together and scoring a goal. So you've got to be prepared for, if it's a game you're dominating, that can always happen. So just make sure it doesn't matter, because you've taken a few of your chances. And like, as you just said there, recently that has been a problem. We've not converted anywhere near as many chances as we should have done. And it has cost us points to some extent, more so than like the defensive side of it for me. But the defensive side, it's a bit unlucky. Like, you have 2 shots conceded and it's 2 goals, and then at the other end you've got 30 shots and you've scored 1 or something, and it's like, well, there's the difference right there. You've just got to be a little bit more clinical, and then that makes up for it. Because it's a bit of an anomaly at the moment, because it's not really that much different at the start of the season, except, and I remember saying at the start of the season, like, Dan was going on about it, this is great, all these clean sheets. I remember saying to him, but, look, Palace missed an absolute sitter, this other team hit the post, that team, like, Alisson's made a worldie, all of these are like a fraction away from being a goal. So you can't just look at like the fact that we've not conceded, we must be brilliant. It's like, well, we could easily have conceded goals. Let's see how it plays out over the season. And now you're in this spell where every other shot's ending up going in the net, which that wasn't happening earlier in the season, but it's just balancing it out. Slot himself said like that we're not really doing anything different in terms of performances. The performances are very similar. All the numbers are very similar. It's just results fluctuate because of sometimes the ball goes in, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, the probability that we only get 2 points from the United and Forest games is like really low. Like, if you play those games over and over again, you win the United game most of the time, and you win the Forest game most of the time. So we're actually all, like I say, you're on the unlucky side of the averages right now, and you're still ticking over and getting points and stuff like that. So I think we can be a bit nervous sometimes, because it's our team we're watching, and we can underestimate, I think, how strong we are. But when you listen to some of the other podcasts and some of the other, like, I was listening to what's his name, Ted Knutson, the lad who runs, the lad who started StatsBomb. He's an
spider graphs.
Yeah, he's an Arsenal fan, and he's an industry guy, and the guy he does the podcast with is also an Arsenal fan, and they're just basically talking about how strong we are. They're basically talking as if like the league's done. They're not even. They're just, that's done now. It's going to take a miracle, because they're obviously looking at it numerically as well. And they're like, Arsenal are heading for 78 points or something at this point. We're heading for 90 or something. So we're obviously like, no one wants to get arrogant. No one wants to go, oh, it's in the bag, it's in the bag. But you listen to everyone else who's just looking at the raw truth in front of them, and we are the best team in the league by a decent distance.
Yeah.
And we're going to have, and so it's going to take something a bit unusual, I think, for for it not to get over the line, because I feel like it's almost now is the time we're not quite getting the points that the performance is deserving. So good luck to everyone else in the future.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, Stu. 20 goals conceded, so best defense. That's less than one goal a game. We've played 21 games in the league, and we've scored 50, which is averages at around 2.5 goals a game. So I mean, with those stats, it's obvious why we're so far ahead, and probably punching a little bit below our weight given recent results. I mean, and in all competitions this season, we've got 79 goals, which is extraordinary. We're going to break the 120, maybe 130 mark again, which was something we were consistently doing under Klopp. So yeah, Dave said before we came on, we talk a little bit about where we think we're at the moment, and I think we're in a really strong position based on what we've seen up to now, but also based on, as we said, the last 2 or 3 games. We just seem to have found an extra gear, seem to control games, create loads of chances, and eventually, like you said, for Mo, that's going to it's going to end up in a 5, 6, 7-0 victory one of these days, because we got 6 against Spurs, but we haven't got 5 against West Ham, so it shows that we're capable of doing that, and I think we could see a little bit more of that if we are a little bit more clinical. Against Forest last week, we probably scored 4 or 5 in the second half, so I think we're in a powerful position at the moment.
And bear in mind as well that we're in this position, 6 points clear, game in hand, and that's the position that Arsenal are in when they've had Saka and they've had Gabriel Jesus chasing us.
Yeah.
So they now haven't got those 2 players, and they've got to try and make up that gap whilst we've got virtually everyone fit. That's the other major point for me is, like, Saka's such a difference maker for them.
Yeah.
He's not there. Gabriel Jesus is not there, which again, even though he's not amazing, it's another body. Like,
he just hit a little bit of form as well.
Do you know that, like, they're going to have to keep putting the same players out every single week, and as the analysis has showed, that they've got to go try and go around you because they can't really go through you. They haven't really got the guile to go through you. I'd be really
they can't
surprised.
go around you because they haven't got Saka.
Yeah,
so that's how they normally do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And because they're quite a grindy team, you know what I mean? They're not. They haven't been playing with a lot of flair. They've got a lot. Declan Rice is a lot of things. He's not particularly subtle. He's got a decent ball into the box, but he's not going to pick a lock for you. Odegaard will do that, but yeah, I think
he's not been doing it though. Like Odegaard.
No, he hasn't. I think
nothing special.
When he plays with Saka, I think the two of them are a really good combination together, and they feed off each other. But yeah, he's looking up and he's got Havertz, and that's all he's got. That's a bit of a different game. They're very balls into the box and win with set pieces and grind shit out, and everyone talks about them as being solid. We've got the best defence in the league. We've got the lowest expected goals against us in the league. Like it doesn't, and that doesn't explain everything, but usually expected goals for and expected goals against, it gives you a good indication of how many chances you're giving up and where you're taking your chances from, and everything indicates that we're headed for a lot more points than them. We've got a lot of wriggle room for that to drop off as well and still get over the line.
Also on that though, Stu, you mentioned about, they were talking about like the expected points based on how many points we've been getting so far, and like, if you continue at this rate, even allowing for the fact that that's not an exact science, you're probably not going to maintain the exact same rate that you've been doing. There's going to be fluctuation there. The thing that's like significant to me is there's got to be a pretty fucking big fluctuation for them to get near us.
They've got to go up. They've got to go up a gear without their best player. Does that sound like it's likely? And
we've got to go down at least one gear, probably down 2 gears, for them to be able to do it. Yeah. So okay,
it might be different for the Champions League and for the cup competitions, but other than Verge, like I know people say Mo, but other than Verge, I think he's the only player with if he's injured, you start worrying, because I do think as incredible as Mo is in the league, we've probably got enough to get us over the line with goals and numbers up top.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, if we keep going at this rate, you're saying about kind of projections, lads. We're on course for 90 to 91 points.
Yeah.
Based on what we've done this season so far, we're averaging 2.4 points a game, and so let's say we keep going the way we are, we get to 90. That the most Arsenal and Forest, because they're equal on points, or anyway they can get the same amount of points. The most they can get is 92. So if we keep going at the rate we've been going up to now, and there's nothing to suggest that we won't, given the way we've stepped it up in the last few games as well, and with Chiesa maybe coming into the team, giving us an extra option up front, that means that Arsenal have to win all of their games between now and the end of the season to be ahead of us. And I mean, I just can't see that happening.
No.
It's not City.
They're not losing many, but they're drawing quite a lot.
Yeah, they're drawing.
That's going to continue. They're not going to just win every game.
Where would you put us? I think maybe 85, something like that. I think there will be a little bit of a drop off at some point when we're playing like 2 games a week in all competitions. I don't see them getting that anyway.
I think it depends on how far ahead we are as well. You may get like players getting rested if we're miles ahead and we've got a Champions League match, and so I could see us getting high 80s.
Yeah, I could see it go something like that.
I just want to say something like 84 to 88, somewhere in that range, and that would be enough. That'd be enough to win it. And
could be a bit hairy. I would be comfortable with that. So, okay then, what I want to ask is, because most of us have been on, and I think other than Dan, I think we've all said, like, we're all pretty confident that we're going to win the league. Even someone like Chris, who's normally a bit more reserved than the likes of Paul, for example, even Chris is like really confident that we're going to do it. What about you two? Start with you, JB. Are you got any doubts that we're going to do it? How confident are you?
Yeah, I think we'll win the league. Kind of like Stu was saying as well. I think there's an upside with this team between now and the end of the season. Just picked out a few stats so far this season. In the first 10 games, which everybody agrees was an unbelievable start to the season, we got 25 points. Obviously, we lost a game to Forest and drew at Arsenal. And then in the second 10 games, we got 22. And you wouldn't think it that we got 22 points out of a possible 30 in those 10 games, when you see some of the discourse around results in December. But
it's 4 draws, isn't it?
Yeah, we won 6 and drew 4 in that period. I think what probably conditioned that is maybe 2 things. The draws were consecutive games, so against Fulham and Newcastle, where you're dropping 4 points or gaining 2, depending on which way you look at it, in the space of a few days. And obviously then United and Forest, those were consecutive league games, so you're dropping 4 points. But I don't think Fulham at home was a bad point, given that we were down to 10 men, and I thought we were really good in the second half. Newcastle away was always going to be tricky. They were in the middle of
Bournemouth.
Unless
you're Bournemouth.
Bournemouth. They were in the middle of a really good run at the time as well. So, and it's a last minute mistake by the keeper, which probably cost us the 3 points. United, out of those 4 draws, the only one I'd have real reservations about, especially when you see how bad they are week in, week out, is not beating United at home.
Oh yeah, but come on now, JB, you seem to be forgetting. The Butcher told us, like, they changed the mentality. That's what happened there, and then they just flipped it back again afterwards. Like, but yeah, I'm tapping my head here, tapping me from my forehead. Change the mentality.
But yeah, that was the one for me. But in and of itself, 22 points out of a possible 30, 6 wins, 4 draws. You don't lose any games. is really good. And the other reason I think that it's not that big a deal, 2 draws in a row, is because we've been conditioned in the last 10 years to having to win every game because of the non-level playing field with City. That just isn't the case this season, and that will manifest itself in the points total, which will win the league. For the first time in a long time, it will be the target will be 90, not 100. I mean, we've lost the league with 99 points.
Yeah, and it probably won't even take 90.
Yeah, that's why I think some probably maybe 86. You're probably right. Maybe 84 is a little bit hairy, but 86, 87.
It's normal again.
Yeah, it's normal. It's the way. And even when United were winning leagues year in, year out, even when
Arsenal's Invincibles fucking drawing 18 games and winning 18 or something ridiculous like that they did.
Did they win?
Arsenal Invincibles have got like the same points as Leicester or something like that.
That's like 90 points they got, wasn't it?
It was 90. Yeah, there was 90. They won 26 and drew 12.
Yeah. It's not like United treble team got 79, I think.
Yeah, so that's the reason why I think there's just an overreaction to not winning every game. We don't need to be like that till the end of the season. It's not the same as it was before. So no panic. We're in a good place. And just one more thing in terms of where we are at the moment. I mean, this coming Sunday is the 26th of January, which will be a year this Friday will be a year to the day since Klopp left. And just look where we are now. I mean, he left us a fantastic squad, and we are where we are, having just added one player in the transfer market in the summer window. We're in the semi-final of the League Cup, obviously in the 4th round of the FA Cup, and we finished top or first or second in the group stages in Champions League. So, I mean, it's just been a fantastic effort from both team and obviously management. I think Slot has done a wonderful job. I mean, he had the tools at his disposal, but it's not easy coming in after Klopp, and he's just done really, really well, and we're primed for the rest of the season.
Okay, Stu, so tell us on a scale of like 1 to 10, how confident are you that we'll win it?
9, I think.
Yeah, that's probably where I'm at as well.
8.5, 9, something like that. I think the bookies are... they've got us about 80%, I think, to win, haven't they?
You can never be 10, can you? Because
you can't. And obviously things happen and whatever. But as I was saying before, I just think we do look like significantly the best team. When you were talking about the points there, JB, it's not even that we're running hot either. You know, again, as I say, they don't tell you everything, but based on like the expected goals conceded, expected points. Mm-hmm. We're running at about where we should be. Do you know what I mean? We're not even overheating anywhere. It's just we're ticking over where we should be.
Whereas do you feel like Forest, for example, are massively?
Oh yeah, massively. Like Chris Wood scored like 13 goals from 6 or 7 goals worth of XG or something, I think, this year. So he's really massively overcooking it. He's having a great year.
Some of his finishes have been fucking bossed out, to be fair.
I mean, how are they going to do when we buy him off them? Because Chris was keen on us buying him.
Yeah,
that's going to give us a 7th option.
I'd love to see how Chris Wood deals with our fucking pressing.
No, but he's having a great year.
10 minutes.
I know, there's no chance.
In fairness,
that won't continue.
Yeah. No. Chris is my boy, not Chris Wood, but Chris, and he did have a point. He did have a point about the finishing side of things after the Forest game, but I guess Darwin kind of got 1 or 2 back at the weekend, so it's all square at the moment.
The thing with the title chase as well is, like, I'm looking at Arsenal's February, and I don't know if you know they've got
City, haven't they?
City at home. Got to travel to Newcastle, got to travel to Forest, and during that period they've got to make up, in theory, 9 points on us, 6 in a game in hand. So it'll be interesting to see at the end of February.
They're not closing the gap.
Where both teams are at.
fall off massively, but they're not closing the gap.
And even saying that, you're presuming they've also got, in that period, they've got Wolves, Leicester and West Ham. So, okay, let's say they win the games they should. They're going to have to go some to not drop points against City, Newcastle and Forest before the end of February. So I would bet on us increasing the gap by the end of February and them not shortening that gap by February. And I think at that point, when you're talking about then you knock another 6 games off it, you're into single figures then for the running, aren't you?
Yeah.
Plus by the end of February we've played our game in hand as well, which if we win that, I think that's a good night if we win the game in hand.
We're 9 clear then.
With a better goal difference as well.
Yeah. And with Arsenal still to come to Anfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a point. They've got to come to Anfield as well, so they've got to do something special to get a result there as well. Nothing. It's never done. Obviously, it's never done. Wheels can fall off. Things can happen. But just if this was two teams in Italy, and you were looking and going, which one of these 2 teams is going to win? You'd have no doubt whatsoever going, that team that is clearly better is going to win the league. So, yeah, I don't think we need to be shy in saying that we're in a massively strong position. And I'd say, 80%, something like that, 80% sure that we'll get it over the line.
That's not 9 out of 10, Stu. Just
okay, 9, 8.5, whatever you want to say.
You've got from 9 to 8.5 to then saying 80%.
I looked at the bookies. Yeah, I looked at the bookies.
Your maths is all over the place.
I looked at the bookies. The bookies are like, what is it, 4-1 on or something? I think it is. It's 9 or 10, and with JB there saying as well about where we were a year ago. If you think back to the summer pods as well, where we were almost getting ourselves ready for normality again, weren't we? About we can't just presume we're going to be the best team in the world, every single year. And it's nice, isn't it? It's nice that it's nice that none of that happened, and we can still sit here and take it for granted that the club will, get the right decisions right, bring the right people in, and still tick over.
Do you know the best thing about all this though? Imagine we could be doing what we're doing, and City could still be doing like their usual shit, and we'd be like 6 points behind them, looking at it and going, "What the fuck? This is not fair." The best thing about this season is them falling away, making the league normal again for however long that actually is. Hopefully the punishment that they get fucks them for a long time, but that's down the line. We'll see what happens. But at least Slot's being able to come in and he's not having to deal with that. It's like it's a normal league and we're the best team in it right now. So, that's the good thing. But we've totally glossed over Harvey getting the winning goal. I mean, it's a massive deflection. Probably wasn't going in until it got the deflection, but it's a nice moment for him, scoring at the Kop end. I didn't see his interview afterwards. I've seen people talking about it, saying it was really good. Did he say what the celebration was? Which I'm assuming he was like, ignore all that fucking talk.
Yeah, he was saying that basically a couple of his mates have been messaging him and saying, there's this story in the paper about you leaving and you might be going here, you might be going there. And he was basically saying, I'm not going anywhere. He was like, this is my club.
Good stuff.
And he was really mature as well about the idea that he can't get in the side. He's like, we're top of the league, we're top of the Champions League groups, and he's got to wait and just be ready to jump in and try and do what he can when he's available. He just seems like a really sound fella, doesn't he?
Yeah, on the subject, it's like, this week Haaland got the 9.5-year contract. If I'm giving any player in our squad a contract like that, I'm giving it to Harvey. Because the thing with Harvey, he's the one player in the squad who I would have absolutely zero doubt whatsoever that no matter how good he became, he would ever want to leave and go somewhere else. He's already turned down Real Madrid once. And they were trying to sign him, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to meet the captain, Sergio Ramos? You can go meet him." No, you're all right. I don't like him. So I would not be worried about him ever getting tempted by another club. He's like the one player I'm more convinced about than any other in terms of him he'll never want to leave here.
Yeah,
didn't he do something with didn't he take the piss out of Harry Kane as well, which is
yeah that's probably why he's never been called up to the England squad, to be fair. He got stitched up there. It was, I don't know if you know anything about Snapchat, JB, but that's what all the kids use now, and messages disappear after you send them. And he did an impression of Harry Kane, and it was the fucking greatest impression of Harry Kane you'll ever see. And he called him a mong as well. He was like, "Oh, I'm Harry Kane, I'm a mong, obviously." And somehow, like, someone stitched him up, and it got made public, and like the FA got involved. I think he got banned. I'm sure he got banned for a game or something, you know. And he's not been in a senior England squad yet because Harry Kane's in the squad, obviously. But yeah, I mean, he was 15 when he did that, and it was in a private chat with his mates. It's like it should never have got out publicly. So yeah, I'm glad it did because it was a fucking great impression. To be fair.
Yeah. Who wants the things they said when they were 15 when they were a kid putting out there? You know, obviously everyone says stupid shit when they're a kid, don't they?
Yeah, or when they're... How old are you, Stu?
What's that, sorry?
How old are you right now? You don't want stuff getting out at your age either. Oh, right, we need to wrap this up because I said an hour and we've gone over that already. But just before we go, we've got one final thing. I teased it on the last pod about JB and the whole Ballon d'Or thing and Nutmeg and John O'Shea in the playground. Well, one of JB's mates,
Kieran.
JB's mate Kieran, ran into John O'Shea. Is it back in Waterford, was he?
Yeah.
In Waterford,
yeah, over Christmas.
And he actually, so he confronted him about being megged in the playground by JB. Here's the audio, I'll play it, and then I'll probably have to give you the transcript of it because it'll probably be difficult to understand, but this is what happened.
She's Polish.
Brennan. No, you didn't make me. Sorry about that. Can't remember it.
It's his bloody claim to fame.
She should be the one hanging every time.
Well, if that's the case, maybe you did. We'll let you off.
Okay, so here's the transcript of what was said. John O'Shea says, "John Brennan, unfortunately, no, you didn't meg me. Unlucky, bud. Sorry about that. Can't remember it." So Kieran says, "It's his bloody claim to fame." And John O'Shea then says, "If that's the case," he's taking pity on you now, obviously. "If that's the case, maybe you did. We'll let you off." And then he gives the thumbs up. So he's kind of admitted it there at the end, even though he wasn't having it. So yeah, we'll keep that one going. There's nothing to contradict it. But yeah, John O'Shea, top fella. You're gonna have to stop calling him John O'Shea now.
I will. Yeah. And Kieran said he's sound about it too. Yeah. So, and even the night Kieran was in the pub, the night before the Spurs game, he texts me, and he just texts me. What's this? He texts me something to the effect of O'Shea's just walked into Nicky's and he put a hashtag nutmeg in his text. And I've texted yourself and Chris, and I was at home just watching telly, and it was freezing. I wasn't going to go out, and I text you both, and in our chat, and Chris says, get your arse down there, and then you just text, bring a footy.
Yeah.
And, but like,
imagine you just turn up at the booze with a footy. Oh, Shay, outside now.
And so, like I said to myself, in the spirit of Christmas, I had already embarrassed him once in his hometown, so I wasn't going to do it again. But fair play, and we'll keep it going. I mean, he's admitted to it now, although there was a bit of a pity admittal at the end, but yeah.
Maybe you did. That's all. That'll do. That's all we need.
Well, thing is, I mean, he says he doesn't remember it, but that's because his head was literally spinning when I made him. I mean, he was on his arse, so that's why he doesn't remember it.
Well, there's also the possibility that it just doesn't mean as much to him as it does to you after all you went on to achieve in the game.
Could be
that, you know.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's like yourself, just unfulfilled potential in the game for me.
Yeah.
But you played for Liverpool Resies, so...
Yeah, my academy days. Funny enough.
Footage not found.
you're talking about John O'Shea and like and being sound and that. Like, I think I've told him on the pod before about me and Wes Brown. Played golf with Wes Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Technically, played one hole with Wes Brown. If we're being totally accurate, played half a hole with Wes Brown. What actually happened was he was in the group in front and he let us play through. But everyone else in the group had gone up the left-hand side. They were all in the shite on the left. And me and Wes had both hit like good drives up the right side of the fairway. so
it's like your dad with scores.
Scores, yeah. So me and Wes are walking up the fairway, just the two of us, like, so I'm having a chat about him, about, like, you know, my academy days. I'm like, you know, I missed you by a few years. I was just a couple of years older than you, Wes, like, but, you know, I watched you playing against Michael Owen and stuff. And we had a little chat, and he was a top fella, really nice lad. And then I hit definitely top 3 best shots of my life. I hit while he was watching. So, like, I knew I couldn't reach the green. Like, I know how far I hit each club, and I'm like, that's out of range. I can't reach it, but I can get up close because it's on a par 5. So I hit me 3-wood out the rough. But there must have been, like, you know, like they'll show golfers in the majors, and sometimes, like, they say, oh, this is a bit far, but he may have to come down a club because the adrenaline will be flowing, and, you know, you get extra distance. So that's what's happened for me. I'm hitting this shot in front of Wes Brown. I'm thinking, don't make a tit of yourself, you know, it's a good shot here. So I hit it like 20 yards further than I thought I was capable of. It goes right up, and it's like rolling up. It's the front of the green, pins at the back up on like at a level, like a tier. So it's got to roll up. Wes Brown isn't just saying, oh, you know, nice shot, mate. He's actually cheering me ball on. He's going, go on, get up there, go on. It's like cheering my ball, and I'm thinking, what a fucking lovely fella this is. And I'm like, I didn't really want him to be, because he's an ex-United player, and it would have been good for him to be a knobhead, and I could have gone, oh, you know that Wes Brown, he's a tit. He's a fucking lovely lad. Yeah, and he's under the, if I ever see him again and he remembers, he'd be like, oh, he's fucking good at golf, him, and I'm not. He's got like a totally wrong impression about me. But yeah, top fella, Wes Brown. File him away with John O'Shea in like the good blokes category. Stu, you got anything to add to that, Stu? anyone you've come across?
No one I can think of.
You know, you're throwing Phil Foden in there.
Do you know what?
Phil?
Yeah. Why not? Phil came. One of the lads who plays for us knows him a bit, so he's come down. He's had a couple of chats, started trading. He is a nice lad. Yeah, he's given us some gear to give away for like a raffle and whatever. So yeah, he does seem pretty sound actually.
Yeah.
I reckon
sound Manx.
Sound nice. Did Wes Brown and John O'Shea play centre half together at Sunderland?
Yeah, they did. Sunderland.
Sunderland.
Bournemouth, Sunderland. What's going on, JP?
How do you say it?
Sunderland.
Sunderland. Okay. It's like, for me, it's like Disneyland, Sunderland.
Is this all Irish people, or is it just you? Because I've not noticed other Irish people doing this.
O'Shea.
Yeah. Probably,
O'Shea's, yeah.
It must be a Waterford thing.
Yeah, probably. Kieran as well, probably.
Yeah.
But I think I take it to a different level, in fairness. So, but there you go.
Okay,
so,
quick predictions for the weekend, and then we'll get out of here. So, JB, you first. Score prediction. Bear in mind, City have just beat them 6-0.
Yeah, which will mean did they park the bus really badly against City, or did they try to?
I think they crashed the bus, to be fair.
Okay, I didn't see the game, but I don't know what. I reckon. Again, it depends. I mean, we could have one of those days which we had last week where we have dozens of shots and just win it late. But if we get it's the start, isn't it? If we get an early goal, the floodgates could open. But to be honest, at this stage, I'd take any kind of win.
Yeah, any comfortable win will do.
Yeah, couple of goals, no injuries, hopefully, and maybe even a clean sheet as well to keep that run of clean sheets. Not the run of clean sheets, but we got a clean sheet at the weekend, and maybe a
start a run of clean sheets.
Yes, a start run of clean sheets in the league. That'd be good.
Stu?
I'll go 3-0.
I was going to say 3-0. Yeah.
Nice, steady. 1 on 30, 1 on 60, 1 on 80 or something. nice and steady. Tick it over. Don't give them too much encouragement.
Yeah.
Feels
Job
like an
done.
obvious
3
score to
points.
say that, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? But
Yeah.
it feels like, because we're not going to go mad, are we? I don't
No.
think. I think
No.
we'll just coast. We go 2 up. We're not going to put the hammer down. I don't think. Yeah,
Chiesa,
3-0.
we won't put the hammer down until Chiesa comes on late and then wraps it up with the third.
15 shots.
Yeah.
In 5 minutes.
See, this is what you've done to me. I've just, on Twitter, someone put me thing up about Chiesa currently averages a shot on target every 3 minutes in his Liverpool career. Immediately people are getting back
Which
at
one?
me. What's your source? I just want to check it's the right player. This is my life for the near future.
Can we just confirm here that I told no lies and did not embellish that story at all? Can we just
Listen,
get the record straight there?
I will leave
I
it
usually
to-
would, and I'd have no qualms about doing it. I didn't need to.
I will leave it to the listeners of this podcast to judge how honest you are and what a knowledgeable, thoroughly researching guy I am. They can make their own judgment on whether they think that you'd be enhancing it or whether that they trust that I'd be getting... No, I absolutely fucked it. Yeah, I absolutely fucked it.
And on that note, yeah, we'll leave it. Okay, so yeah, we'll be back on Saturday. It is Saturday, isn't it? Ipswich Saturday.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll be back on Saturday night then, after the Ipswich game. So until then, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you soon.